What's up, everybody? It's Luke James, not the singer. If you're looking to get your music reviewed, you can hit up this email that's right here. But today I'm going to hit you up with some very quick opinions on a bunch of projects that I didn't give full reviews to. If you're not familiar with the rundown, it's a little series where I do just what I said, so you can go back and check out my playlist where there are tons of reviews for a bunch of projects that you might have missed. Really, it's just a good way to play catch up since we're always getting so much new music. Now, to start things off, we're going to talk about Jedi Mind Tricks' album, The Bridge in the Abyss, which I think is definitely worth your time if you're a Jedi Mind Tricks fan. Of course, you're not going to get Just Allah here, and he is missed because of that raw style that he used to bring, but you are getting some great bars from Vinny Paz. He's still hitting you with a lot of that violent imagery as well as that very aggressive vocal delivery, and Stoop is here with some amazing production. I actually think the beats on this were one of my favorite things. You're getting a lot of that eerie and mystical sample work from Stoop, as you've heard from him in the past on other Jedi Mind Tricks projects, but the one thing that does hold us back a bit is that it kind of gets a bit draggy in spots. There are all kinds of little interludes throughout. They don't ruin the project, but really you're probably just going to skip them whenever they come on, and there's not a lot of content and concepts to really hold your attention that much. I still do appreciate Vinny's bars because he does have that violent and aggressive style. He has a lot of funny, clever gun lines and shit like that, but it's just not overly compelling. Can't complain too much though, because that's what Jedi Mind Tricks does. In spite of all that, you do get some bars on here on songs like What She Left Behind, where Vinny plays the part of a vicious stepfather. This actually kind of reminded me of like some of that old school Eminem storytelling where he's just bringing some dark content. And then with Marciano's Reign, we're getting a touching track that's dedicated to his son. It also gets into some detail about how you can deal with pain by just embracing it and learning from it. So I thought there's a pretty good message on that, and you know, there are some spots in here that have content to take from it, just not a whole lot. So all that said, I'm going to go with a 3.5 out of 5. The track on here I like the least. I forget what it's called, but it's on the outro. I'll put it in my little note section here. But it just was this vegan track where he's going on about the food industry. And I do appreciate what he was saying there, but it just feels very heavy-handed and forced. Like, definitely on some PETA type of shit in my opinion. But I guess that just depends on how you feel about those topics. There's also no homophobic bars on here, which is quite refreshing because we all know Vinny used to do that all the time. But I did some Twitter research, and apparently he's just moved on from that, and he's not proud of all that old shit that he used to spit on his records. So that's a good thing, man. Is what it is. You got to move forward and grow as things change. So I can appreciate that from Vinny. And a 3.5 out of 5 feels fair here. Really is a dope project. Now, the next one we're going to talk about, I don't have a whole lot to say about because it's Future and Zaytoven's Beast Mode 2. What more can I say about Future at this point, man? Whenever he drops a project, I'm not usually too interested in reviewing it because it's the same shit over and over, and that's pretty much what this is, man. I do like the beats from Zaytoven because he brings a lot of bass and nice key work, so that's one positive here. And Future is just doing his usual thing, man. I think by now everybody knows how they feel about Future. You either love him and get excited when he drops, or you just are like me and you don't really give a shit. So this is a Future out of 5, man. If I had to pick a number rating, I'll give it a 2.5 because it's just average and sort of par for the course for Future, but I didn't find anything too interesting or new here. Really don't have much more to say about it. The next project we're going to speak on, though, is the Gorillaz album called The Now Now, which came pretty quickly after Humans. At times it seems like there's quite a bit of a gap between their work, or maybe I just don't follow them that closely, but I was kind of surprised to see that this came out because it seems like Humans wasn't that long ago. Whatever the case, this one is much more compact than Humans, and I do appreciate that about it, but I found that it didn't have the highs that Humans had. Humans did drag on, and it was one of those albums that was like 25 tracks long or close to it, but it had some highs on there that really stuck out, whereas this one is just pretty good all around. I mean, I like the tracks Lake Zurich and Humility. They just have some very fun and bouncy production on them. You get a track with Snoop called Hollywood, which is kind of bouncy as well. It has some good production, but then you're going to get some more boring, stripped-back stuff like the song Idaho. I mean, this is an alright album. I'll give it a 3 out of 5. It's slightly above average. I wouldn't say it's anything to write home about, but if you are a Gorillaz fan, I'm sure you'll take a couple of tracks from this. It's just not really amazing or a step above from Humans, in my opinion. Up next, though, this is a project I actually really liked, and I wanted to speak on it very quickly because it's only 2 tracks. I'm talking about Childish Gambino's Summer Pack. He dropped 2 tracks. One is called Summertime Magic, and the other is Feels Like Summer. And I think this is just perfect for what it is, man. A couple of summer tracks to hold you over. Now, Summertime Magic is all about the fun. This is just a very catchy track with beautiful steel drums on it, so I like the sound of it. And then Feels Like Summer actually comes through with a bit of content. On this one, he's singing about global warming and environmental change, so obviously he has a little bit of political shit to get into here, but it's not too force-fed or heavy-handed, so I still liked it. The production is also very hazy and almost atmospheric, so it has a good sound to it. And I would give this little EP, or whatever you want to call it, a 4 out of 5. I do like Summertime Magic a little bit better. That would be a strong 4. Feels Like Summer would probably be more like a 3.5. But together, I'm going to go with a 4, because I thought this was a pretty fun project, and I really like when Childish Gambino sings, man. I know people are really split on that because a lot of people prefer when he raps rather than just hearing him sing, but I think his singing stuff is really dope, so this is a project I liked, and I'll be listening to it this summer. Now, this next one is one I had a lot of requests for. I was going to do a full review for it, but I just didn't have the time because shit is hectic around here, and I'm talking about Westside Gunn's Supreme Blientele. Obviously, from the title, this is a nod to Ghostface Killah's classic Supreme Clientele, and it does kind of stay true to that sound because you're getting that rough and rugged sample-based production. There are all kinds of great names involved with the beats, from Ninth Wonder, Alchemist, Static Selector, Pete Rock, and a bunch of others. So if you like gritty beats, jazz flips, and soul samples, you're really going to like the overall aesthetic here. As for the rapping, it also kind of follows up some of that Ghostface style where you're getting lavish shit, a little bit of abstraction, as well as some dope boy bars. I just think he's a very cool rapper, man. When you listen to Westside Gunn, you just picture him in the booth with expensive furs on and gems dangling, maybe a grill in there, and he's got 2 AKs. That's just the type of shit that Westside Gunn is on. So if you like that content, you're going to appreciate this. There's also all kinds of old school wrestling references on this, so if you still like watching WCW and ECW matches on YouTube like I do once in a while, you're going to appreciate it. And apparently the other title for this was going to be Chris Benoit or Crossface Crippler. I forget, I'll put it here in my little section because, you know, I got to stay thorough. So I do appreciate all these things, man. I'm a wrestling fan, so that was a nice little feature to have on there. And since I did mention feature, you get quality verses from Jada, Busta Rhymes, and Elzai on this thing. So this is just for the people who really like that old school boom bap, punch you in the teeth rap. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to go with a 3.5 out of 5 here. Not higher, because as much as I do like the sound, there are a handful of tracks that are only like a minute, so they feel kind of pointless in spots, and there's not a whole lot of content and concepts to get into. That's just a personal thing for me. I think if you've watched my channel by now, you know that I like that, but I'm not going to hold it too much against it, and I think this is a dope project, so make sure you check it out, man. As an old head, I definitely appreciate the rawness of it. And lastly, we have Freeway's album, Think Free. I really wanted to check this out because I was a fan of Freeway back in the day. I actually think his debut album, Philadelphia Freeway, was slept on, and he has that unique vocal cadence and delivery style that really sets him apart from everyone else. The issue with this album, though, is just like with other old rappers, I don't want to say old, but older rappers who've been around for a while, you're getting some of the same issues that all these people fall into. What I mean by that is some of the production is a bit generic and outdated in spots, and then yet on other tracks he's awkwardly forcing some trap elements that just don't fully fit with his style. So these are some of the things I didn't like about this project. However, he does have some good content on here as he raps about coming up from slanging drugs to signing with The Rock, some of the struggles he had as a rapper, some of the other struggles he had just trying to balance his street life with his Muslim faith. There is a lot of good content on here, and it was almost enough for me to go with a 3.5 out of 5, but I settled on a 3. I just really listened back to this one a couple of times, and it didn't have anything that really stuck out to me. Certainly a good album that's worth checking out. If you like Freeway, I think you'll like a couple of tracks, but I wasn't blown away by this, and I wouldn't put it on my year-end list, even as an honorable mention. There are some good features on here, though. I got a shout out. Let me scroll down here. We have good verses from Jadakiss and Wheezy. And thankfully, Wheezy was on his bar shit on this project, man. He absolutely snapped and wasn't doing that crazy auto-croon shit that I'm personally not a big fan of. So I thought that was pretty good. And you know what? All these projects really are worth checking out. I think you know what you're going to get with these projects if you're familiar with them. Not a whole lot of chances taken here, but it is what it is. You got a couple of good songs throughout all these projects, a couple of solid albums, as you can see by my ratings. So check them out and let me know what you think in the comments section. As usual, you also want to follow me on all my social media sites. You know where I'm at, so show me love and show me lots of it. Thank you for watching, everybody. I will see you next time.